Do you get stressed because you don't know how to follow a formula? Do you want to know the secret to factor a special factoring case? Hi, I'm Ngoluke, and this is a minute with factoring. I'm going to show you how to use the formula. So first step is to check the factoring of the polynomial and what you can do. Remember that usually when you have a polynomial and you need to factor, the parenthesis means a term. So in this case we have two terms. Uh, what is my what I think that is better to do here? The best thing that I think that is better to do is that count the number of terms you have. So we have two terms, and when we have two terms, the way to factor the polynomial is using a special factoring formulas. And what is the special factoring formula that we are using? So it's pretty easy to know which are the special factoring formulas with two terms: difference of squares, difference of cubes, and sum of cubes. So to me is just to check the name, okay? Difference of squares, so it means difference, subtraction of two terms. So as we don't have a subtraction, obviously it's not a difference. Difference of cubes, so a difference as well. So you need to check a difference, a subtraction. It's not a subtraction, it's a sum. So it's a sum of cubes. And you have to check if you have cubes. Look at cube and cube. So sum of cubes. If you don't remember the formula, I'm going to write it for you. So the formula is a cube plus b cube b cube equals to a plus b times a square plus ab plus b square. Okay, it's not plus ab, it's negative ab. Okay, and this is the formula of the sum of cubes. So now you just have to apply the formula to the original equation. What is the original equation? This is the original equation, or the original polynomial. It's better to say polynomial because it's not an equation. So you just have to follow the formula and to check which is the cubic root of each term. So which is the cubic root of this term? Yes, m minus n. And which is the cubic root of this term? Yes, m plus n. So just use the formula. Use the formula. Use the formula. It's very important that you check the formula and use it. But as you have parentheses as terms, so you should use parentheses as well. Let me show you how you can do it. So a cube a is m minus n. So instead of a, I'm going to write m minus n, and b is m plus n. So instead of b, I'm going to write m plus n. And we have a plus b. So a is m minus n, and b is m plus n. Here we have a squared. So m minus n to the second power minus ab. So m minus n times b, m plus n, plus b squared, m plus n to the second power. When you're factoring trinomials, there is just one rule to me, and the rule is to simplify the terms that has a parenthesis inside and leave the factors as much as simplify as you can. Okay? So my hint is, if you have little problems to follow the parentheses right now, I ask you to stop the video and do it a step-by-step process for each parenthesis, and then check the final of the video, okay? And you will see if you're doing appropriately the stuffs. If not, pay attention, be careful of what I'm doing, because I'm gonna do some stuff that maybe are gonna take you some time to understand it. But you will do it, you will understand it. If I can, you can. So let's see, we have m minus n plus m plus n. So m plus m is just 2m, and negative m plus n, so it's 0. So all the term in the parenthesis is 2m. Okay? Here we have n minus n to the second power. And if you simplify m minus n to the second power, you have a perfect square trinomial. So let's write it. Instead of m minus n to the second power, I'm going to write the perfect square trinomial. M squared minus 2mn plus n squared minus m minus n times m plus n. This is just a difference of squares. A difference of squares. Okay? So, difference of squares. If you don't believe me, just take the situation, take n minus n times n plus n, and you will have the answer. Okay? And finally, this is another perfect square, but with a positive sign. So, instead of m plus n to the second power, we'll have m to the second power plus 2mn plus n squared. And finally, to simplify all the parentheses inside the factor, we can simplify the negative one here. So negative m squared plus negative times negative positive, and you have the polynomial. Obviously, you have to simplify this polynomial. So use sum of like terms. M squared minus m squared plus m squared. So we can simplify this negative m and this positive m. In the same way, we have 2mn but negative and 2mn positive. So we can simplify it, cross out. Goodbye. Okay? And we have 3n squared. So this is plus 3n squared. Don't you think that is beautiful that we transform these two parentheses in addition to these little factors? I think that is pretty cool, you know? And we just used a formula. We just use a formula, this formula. So, you just have to pay attention to the formula, and after you check the formula, you just have to start by simplifying the parentheses inside the factors. Okay? You should be careful with negative signs. This is the only thing that you have to take into account. Thanks for watching, I hope that you understand how to use formulas, how to simplify some special factoring formulas, and I see you next time. Send me your videos, send me your comments about what is the next what is the next polynomial that you want to factor. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.